Ben Hatchett, Let's Be Real TV, sponsored by Terrace Cole.
Welcome to Let's Be Real with me, Ben Hatchett. Today's special guest. I've been looking forward to this one. Terry Stone.
Yes.
What's happening, my brother?
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real, yeah? It's going to be good. No, it's the first time. Thank you for coming on and that.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
Appreciate it. And so, normally say with guests, like people who don't know you, tell a bit about yourself, but obviously you're very well known, a lot of people know you, but I want to talk about how it all started and that with you, man.
Well, the reason I wanted to do the podcast is because I'm a bit mad, and my wife keeps thinking that I should be committed. So I just wanted to ask you if there are any signs I should be looking out for. Now, scrap that. It's not funny because people might start getting upset about the mental health thing. So let's
Honestly, no, I'm always sitting saying I'm not fucking normal. Right. You know what I mean? Listen, fucking, I grew up in mental sports, bro. You know what I mean? You're in good company, mate. You're in good company.
Yeah. So, what did you want to talk about first then? Just
because it wasn't always acting, was it? It goes back to the garage days.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about that.
I mean, I've always enjoyed movies, and I probably got into gangster films when I was probably about 15. And all my mates were like, "Oh, have you seen this film? Have you seen that film?" And obviously that got me into the movies. And my first job when I left school was at McDonald's. So I had 5 stars as well. I was quite proud of myself.
Yeah, 5 stars, yeah.
I didn't make the manager thing, but I decided, I don't know why, but I decided it'd be a good idea to join the Royal Marines. And I ended up doing the 4-day course down there. But then realised when I got down there I didn't like heights, so that didn't have a happy ending. Yeah, I didn't think that the Tarzan assault course thing was really for me. And then I just thought, actually, why don't I just join the Navy? I think what it was, because my upbringing was kind of fucked up, and my mum and dad split up when I was young, and we lived on a council estate, didn't have any money. I just felt I wanted to sort of escape it, so I thought joining the forces was a way of getting out. And I joined the Navy, and I've got to say, when people talk about their regrets, that was my biggest ever fucking regret.
Why is that? Why is that?
Well, you know, I was boxing at the time, and I just thought, you know, I can box in the Navy, I can get paid, I can see a bit of the world, great. But then what I didn't realise is when you go there, it was basically like going back to school, but like 100 times worse. So it was all, you know, sit up straight, do this, polish your shoes, and literally every night people stand there with their shoes and they'd be going like that for like hours, right? And I was just like, fuck this, right? Yeah. And then you know, you had to fold everything certain sizes, and it was like being tortured on a daily basis. And after about a week, I don't think we'd done any exercise, and I was just like, this is fucking bollocks. It's like being back to school, but with a load of other rules. And I understand you have to be disciplined and all the rest of it, but that wasn't the discipline I enjoyed. So I just thought, you know, this ain't cut for this. And I was literally, this is how naive I was. I just went up to the officer and said, you know, this ain't really for me, you know, I want to go home now. And he was like, this is not how it works. Yeah. He said, if you want to leave, you either buy yourself out or you get fucking dishonourably discharged. So I phoned my mum up, and I remember saying to her, you know, I want to get, you know, out, can you buy me out? And I was like, how much is it? And I don't know how much it was, it was 600 quid, it was quite a lot of money then. Yeah. And she was like, all right, got 600 quid, and I was like, fuck, you know. And I thought, I don't actually want to stay till the end and then actually get fucking taken in, because you signed up for like 15 years.
Is that what it was, yeah?
Yeah, so I thought, I've got to get out of here. So what I did, I just fucked about and was just a nuisance until they actually threw me out.
I can relate to that story, I can relate to that, I mean.
So you know, and you know, they had me doing watering fucking plants with these little watering cans. They had me cleaning toilets with toothbrushes. I mean, they just did everything they could. And then they started, obviously, trying to get everything with me, like saying, oh, you know, we're going to have a little walk, you ain't going to come back and all that. And obviously, at the time, I was quite sort of lively. So I was like, any time you want to fucking go, let's just go, right? And they were a bit like, you know, this guy, he's not all there, do you know what I mean? So they got rid of me. And then I sort of went back to McDonald's for a bit. But then I fell into sales, and then when I started doing sales, I found something that I was good at and I earned good money at, and then I went through various sales jobs, and then the big recession came. I think it was like either late 88 or early 89, and lost a job. We had a house then, and we lost that. Back on the council estate. So
what was the council? Where did you
in Camberley, it was at this period of time. so originally I was from South London, but then I moved out. But the council estate I ended up moving back on was the Old Dean estate in Camberley.
Okay.
And then when I was on that estate, we ended up having you know, like, you lose your job, you lose your house, you're in a council flat, you're in, I think back then it was like 40 quid every 2 weeks, so you know, it was like, I mean, you couldn't live on that a week, let alone for 2 weeks. And I was, you know, it was fucking a miserable year of my life. And someone said to me, back then there was all these rave parties, and everyone kept, oh, come to a rave, blah, blah. And every day you read the paper, you know, ecstasy, you know, people dying of ease and all this stuff. And for me, I was training, I was boxing, I was running, and for me it was like, any drugs, not interested, you know, it's not my thing. I used to go to the club, you know, girls would be dancing around their handbags, you'd have a few pints, you'd pull one, you'd leave, you'd have a fight, you'd have a kebab, and then hopefully you get laid, and that was really like a good night then. Yeah. But then if you fast forwarded it to the rave scene, people started going, oh, you know, you come to this rave scene, and after a year I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go and see what it's all about. Yeah. I remember being in this rave, and there must have been, you know, 2,000 people in this like old, where it was like a.
Is it like when you're saying like in that sort of time, the raves now? I'm picturing obviously your film like Rise and Futsal. Was it like that? Like,
yeah, similar.
Like
there was a club in Worthing called Stearns, and it was like this old. Because there was illegal raves,
yeah.
And then there
so
was,
this ain't illegal. This is legit.
No, this
rave.
is a legal rave.
Yeah.
But I suppose it felt probably. I mean, it probably was illegal in the sense that you probably shouldn't have had 2,000 fucking people in this old house, right? Yeah. That was a club in Worthing called Stearns. But I remember going in there, and I walked in the door, and I remember like there must have been, you know, out of them 2,000 people, there must have been 1,500 girls, and they were all, you know, bra tops, hot pants, little skirts, little tops, and all that. And then the guys were all like dungarees, shorts, t-shirts. You know, nobody was really dressed up. But what was mad was like, you know, everyone was having a good time. And literally, when you went to a club back in the day, you'd have to make an effort. You have to, you know, put a shirt on, your shoes, and you have to walk over and go, hi, you know, can I buy you a drink? And do all these cheesy chat lines. In there, the girls are chatting you up. So you're just standing there, and the girls are walking up to you, no, how are you know, having a good night, can I have a dance, you know, do you want to tip my water and all this stuff? And you was like, this is fucking unbelievable. And there was no fights, there was no trouble. And I just thought, this is fucking great. And I remember, you know, there was loads of people in there like raving and stuff. And this guy that I was with was going, oh, do you want an E? And I said, I don't take drugs, you know, don't read the papers, you know, they can kill you. And he went, no, it's all bollocks. He said, why do you think everyone in here is so happy and they're all dancing, and while all the girls come up to you talking to you, it's not because they like you, it's because they're all off their fucking nuts. So I was like, right, okay. And he said, is anybody in here dead? And I was like, no. And he said, look, just try a little bit, right? So I was like, okay, I'll try a little bit. So I had a little bit, then I was just like, oh, you know, a load of bollocks. And then he sort of said, oh, how'd you feel? And I said, I don't feel anything. He says, fucking load of bollocks. I think you've been sort of mugged off. And then he went, all right, just try a little bit more. So a little bit more. And then it sort of kicked in, and then I had a really good night, and I got it. And then I remember leaving this rave, and because I didn't have any money, my mate paid for me, you know, they kind of looked after me. But when I left, I remember walking out this rave, and there was a load of people giving out flyers. And I sort of looked around, and I was like, do you get paid for this? And they were like, yeah, you know, we get paid a tenner a night, blah, blah, to give out flyers, and we get in the club for free. And I thought, that's pretty good. And I was with a load of my mates, and I was trying to work out. I tell you what it's like if you've never been to a nightclub before, forget what they're like now. But back then, if you'd never been to a nightclub, and you walked into a nightclub, and you could buy booze, there's dancing, there's girls, everyone's dressed up. It's like, wow, you know, I want to go clubbing every night. And it was the same with this. I wanted you, once you're in it, you go, I want to go out, I want to go to a big outside rave, I want to go to legal raves, I want to go to clubs. I want to get in the scene, I want to DJ, you know, buy the tapes, buy the records, you know, so, but obviously it all costs money. So I remember ringing the company up that was giving out flyers, and I said, oh, you know, I've got a few mates who like going out raving. If I, you know, got them to give out flyers, how much do you pay? And it was like £10 a head, and I was like, great, and you get some for free. He'll get you for free. So I said, okay. So I rang all my mates up, I went, look, if I can get you in these clubs for free, VIP, will you come out and give out some flyers? And they're going, well, it saves us 20 quid. Yeah, why not? Right? And we don't have to queue up. Right? So straight away they've gone from being ticket buyers queuing up, waiting to come in, to walking to the front and go straight in. So they feel a bit special. And I said to them, I said, I'm getting paid for this, but you're giving out the flyers and I'm getting you for free. That's the deal. Right? So I had like 10 or 15 people that we go out, and then they'd all be out flying. So I could then go out for free, and then 150 quid a night. And then obviously there was things on fucking Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. So I could go out 5 nights a week for free, and I could earn 750 quid a week, which is better than fucking 20 quid a week on the dole, right? Yeah. So I thought, fuck this. I come off the dole, and then I noticed on the back of the flyers, you'd have these ticket touts, but there was nobody in Surrey. So I was like, you know, I'm in Surrey, I've got a car to fucking drive around selling tickets. So I then phoned all the promoters up, and I'm giving out flyers as well, right? So I'm ringing them all, I'm giving out your flyers, and I live in Surrey, and I can sell that on everybody, I'll sell you a load of tickets. All right, sweet, well, we'll give you some tickets. So obviously, they don't know who I am, so they only give me like 20, 30, and I'd sell them, and I'd go, I need another 20, 30. I was selling sometimes 1,000 fucking tickets for an event, right? Some of these events for like 20,000 people. And obviously, on each ticket, you make £1 to £2 to £3, depending on the ticket price. So, you know, I was getting that, I was getting the flying money. And then, obviously, the promoters talk, and they go, who's this bloke in Surrey? So I was tickets out for probably everybody. I was giving out flyers for everybody. And then I had a fallout with a company and they said, oh, you know, we was outside this club, and someone checked up and you weren't there. And I said, well, we definitely were, because I was standing there giving out flyers. Well, you ain't fucking paying, you right? I said, I'll tell you what, I said, if you don't fucking pay me, I said, I'm just going to set up my own company, I'm going to fucking take your business. Right? And then they were like, yeah, of course you are, blah, blah, blah. I went, all right, well, we'll see. Don't fucking pay me and see what happens. So then I set up a company called Turbo Promotions.
So that's what I wrote from the Turbo.
Because I was called Terry Turbo back in the day, so I just thought, look, and I hated that name, by the way.
How did that name come about? Terry Turbo?
Breakdancing.
Was it?
So
was your breakdancing?
Believe it or not, yeah.
Yeah?
A really bad one. But yeah, I was breakdancing probably when I was like 13, 14. So I grew up on hip hop, rap, reggae, you know, all of that sort of urban music I was into from a kid.
Yeah.
And you know, there was a film that came out probably when I was 13 or 14 called Breakdance the Movie. And in it was a guy called Turbo, right? And he was really good. So they called me Terry Turbo because I was really bad. Right? So it was like, they was taking the piss at me. And the amount of fucking fights I used to beat people up. They'd go, oh, Terry Turbo. I said, don't call me that. Terry Turbo, okay. And then he'd go, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it was like, you want to wind him up, press the buttons by calling him Terry Turbo. But then as I got older, everyone knew me as that. So it was very difficult. It's such a stupid fucking name. You can't shake it off, right? It's, you know, so I just thought, okay, you know, I'm gonna embrace it, but I'm not gonna call myself Terry Turbo. I'm gonna call Turbo Terry. Sorry, Turbo Terry, right? So I just thought I might as well just change that and call myself Terry Turbo. Turbo Promotions come out of that, and everyone's like, okay, fine. And then the company grew. I was making good money out of that, and then probably after about a year, someone said to me, well, why don't you, you know, do a magazine, because there isn't really a good rave magazine. So I used to read Viz and this American magazine called Mad, and I just thought it'd be good to do a rave magazine, but just make it like silly and like take the piss out of people. So we sort of send things up. We'd have, my mum was the agony aunt, so she was like Dear Deirdre, but she'd answer everybody's rave problems. You know, people would just write these stupid like letters that were all made up, and she'd respond with all this like stupid advice. So, but it went from this little 16-page black and white magazine to this like 128-page.
What was it called?
The Scene.
The Scene. That's what it was called. The Scene. Yeah.
And it was a big magazine. So I had the clubs. Sorry, I had the flyers. I had the tickets. The magazine. And someone said to me, you know, you're doing all this stuff. You should fucking promote. One thing that we did leave out in the beginning was I was also an MC.
What was you?
Right.
Breakdancer, boxer, MC.
But really bad. So the boxing I weren't too bad at, but the MCing and the breakdancing were two things that I wasn't excelling at. Yeah. But I did it because, you know, I just thought, no, because back then, like in the late 80s, an MC would go, put your hands in the air, make some noise. Where's the whistle crew? That is they're the lyrics, right? So anyone can fucking do it. You know what I mean? It's not difficult. But then obviously all the lyrical people come in, all the singers and all that, So then obviously I kind of become irrelevant, so I gave it up. But back then that was it, and it was quite good fun, you know. So
that's the main thing, fun though, isn't it?
Yeah,
you enjoy it.
I did it for a laugh, and then I got a couple of bookings, and I got paid a little bit here and there. But you know, I was never going to be, you know, an award-winning MC, and I wasn't going to be an award-winning breakdancer either. But again, it's the one thing that's sort of throughout my life is I like having a go at things. So if I like something, I'll have a go at it. Doesn't mean I'm going to be any good at it, but I'll have a go at it. And
but you got the balls to, like, if you like something, you enjoy it, you've got your courage, you give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will not do stuff because they don't either want to be humiliated or laughed at or being told that they're shit. Right? For me, I don't give a fuck. I did it because I wanted to do it and I liked it. And the thing with me is, I'll do something for as long as I can, and until I get to the top of it. And then when I get to the top of it, you know, that's when I step out. So, you know, I knew I wasn't going to be any better at breakdancing, so what's the fucking point? I knew I wasn't going to become any better at the MCing, so it's a distraction. So I focused on the things I was good at. Somebody said to me out of the blue, "Let you put a rave on." I was like, "Yeah, rave, yeah, that sounds like a good idea." And bear in mind, I had no clue. But there was a song that was out at the time called One Nation Under a Groove. And I remember being out, and the lyrics were One Nation Under a Groove, getting down just for the fun of it. And it was all about people dancing and being one and all that. I just thought, that's a cool name. So that's where One Nation came from. And we put on our first event and broke even. Second one we did, made money. At the time, I went into it with some other people, and the plan was, you know, we was all going to do our bit, and then after, like, I think it was either 4 or 5 events, but the guy just turned around and was going, "Oh, yeah, this ain't really for us, you know, we don't really feel this, you know, we're not going to bother with it anymore, you know, it's fucking a waste of time, blah, blah." And I said, "Well, okay, fine. Well, it's my name, and if you don't want to be involved anymore, you fuck off and I'll just carry on." So then fast forward 6 months, and then I made a success of it. And
then they walked out at this point.
Then surprise, they come back going, "Oh, you know, where's their bit, where's this, where's that?" And I was like, you didn't want to get anything to do with it, right? You fucking stole it. I said, "I haven't stolen anything, you cunts." I said, "That's my fucking name, yeah?" I said, "I brought the name up, I've done all the fucking hard work, I come up with the design. I said, this is my blueprint. All you did was put a bit of dough in, and then you decided you didn't want to fucking..." So now it's successful. Now you want your fucking piece. I said, "You can go fuck yourself." And then I remember the fella said, "Oh yeah, well, you know, we'll see about that. You know," I said, "Mate," I said, "don't go down that road, right?" Because I said, I will fucking come in your house." I said, "If you want to meet up, we just meet up and sort it out. And bring whoever you want, I'll bring whoever I want, we sort it out." It didn't. Nothing happened. But the thing with me at the time is, when you live on a council estate and you have nothing, and then you get something, no one's fucking taking it off you. Do you know what I mean? You will fight to the death to fucking protect it. Right? You just will. It doesn't matter how big someone is, there's always someone you can ring who's fucking bigger. Do you know what I mean? There's always a fucking number you can call. So it's not like, you know, I might not be the best fighter in the world or the hardest man in the world. I don't need to be. But my mates are. So if I can't do it, I'll ring them. Yeah. Right? So that was always my thing. And then when I actually started promoting, you know, you had people mugging people, you had venue owners trying to turn you over and nick your money, you had other door firms trying to fucking let people in. So someone said to me, you know, you've gone from doing these little, they weren't little events, they were like 3,000 people, but you've gone from doing this event for 3,000 people, getting 1,200 in, then getting 2,500 in. Now you're starting to put on these events and they're starting to sell out. So you're starting to get a profile, and bear in mind, you're not in London, you're not associated with any firm. Yeah. So the fact you're outside London, everyone's going, "Who's this fucking..." So, and I was 21 years of age. I was a kid. Was at this time? Fucking kid, right? So they're going, "Who's this fucking white kid from fucking Surrey coming in there taking their money," right? And I don't know what they call me, the white kid. They just did. They said, "This white fucking kid." So I was a kid. I was 21 years old, coming into London, putting these fucking waves on and selling out. And back then, established promoters would talk to other promoters and they'd say, "You know, we're going on these dates, you know, what dates you going on?" And then they'd move the dates around so they didn't clash. And I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm going on that date," do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then people started going up against us and getting hurt. So then someone said, "Look, you are going to upset people because you know, you're quite aggressive, and if you do that, you know, you might have some aggravation."
What did you think though when people were telling you that about if you're going to get aggravated?
Well, I just thought, well, what's the best way of dealing with it? And and I come up with my own thing. Because I had the flying business and I would be flying up and down the country, as you go around the country, now bear in mind, I live near Aldershot, yeah, so a lot of my mates were either ex-parachute regiment, SAS, like different, special forces. So I knew some of them types of people, and because I used to do boxing, I had a couple of ex-pro boxers. With the martial arts, I used to do jiu-jitsu, so I had a couple of the guys from there that were like third, fourth dans. So I just thought, you know what, I can pull together a few fellas I already know. But in my travels, when you're standing outside the laser drum in Peckham, right, and it's fucking aggravation. But bear in mind, Peckham's probably quite nice now, but back then it was like a fucking war zone, right? Same with Brixton, same with Hackney, same with Tottenham. They were just places you wouldn't fucking want to walk around at after 8 o'clock because you'd either get turned over or shot or fucking stabbed or whatever. And that, we're talking like 20 years ago. So imagine some parts of London like that now, even worse, right? But that's what it was like then. So all the clubs in those areas.
That's why you didn't have all CCTV and all that back then. So yeah, it's going
to be. So yeah, people were doing drive-by shootings, people were getting machine gun death outside nightclubs. I mean, it was on top, right? So I just thought, if I get the guy from fucking Tottenham, so there'd always be a head doorman, and the head doorman was always the guy who was either connected in that area or was somebody that, people wouldn't fuck about. If he come out and said, mate...
He was a face. He was
you got to go. Yeah. You're not going to start going, oh yeah, what you did about it? Because he will either fucking know where you lived or find out where you live and come on your house. So the head dorm, the security thing's different now.
They were bouncers now, they're like doormen, that's different, isn't it?
No, but back then they were more like fucking gangsters.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's sort of like, if you've got your badge, right? And obviously none of these fellas would have got fucking badges now, right? And the reason they were the head doorman is because the person who owned that club went, get Fred on the fucking door here because he knows all the fucking undesirables, he knows all the firms, he knows all the cunts. So if he's on the door, he will stop them or he will control them or he will say, guys, you can't bring your fucking shooters in here, put them in the fucking motor. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that sounds mad, but if you get that respect, then obviously you do, because look, if you have a shooting in the club, someone dies of drugs in the club, anything happens in that club, right, they're going to want to shut the club down. So if you own that club, you want to do anything you can to protect. So you might even employ a couple of XL bill on the door, but you'd always have a head doorman who would keep the peace. So I just was literally like, head doorman, Tottenham, blah, blah, blah. I'm doing a couple of days. Why don't you come do work for me? Pay double. You'll pay me double. Yeah, it's just fucking get a night off. Come work with me, it'd be a laugh. And do you want to bring anyone with you? You got a mate? Of course I have, right? So I just end up having like my 4 fellas who could all really fucking have it, right? And then I'd have like 6 psychopaths from Brixton, Hackney and Tottenham, or from Manchester or wherever, right? And they'd all be on the door. And the beautiful thing is I knew that the 4 guys I had would protect me. And because all these guys were different, they knew that I'd employ them. And if you're paying someone double their wages, obviously you got their loyalty. And the thing is, when it used to go up, we all used to go out together and we'd always just like fucking have it with people. So they didn't look at me as like someone who'd employ people. Yeah. And then I'd be on them and go, I'd be right in it. So if it goes off, we'd all be out there together, do you know what I mean? So I got a little bit of respect from them, but then also we had a laugh. They earned good money. And when people turned up, they'd be like, fucking hell, they're trying to work out how these people are connected to me, and they're like going, there's something going on here, right? And then we'd always be heavy-handed because my view was if you give anybody an inch, they'll take a yard. So when we did the events, my events were for everybody. So there was my thing was all about One Nation. It was all about, doesn't matter where you're from, where you're at, what skin colour you are, what race you're, it doesn't matter. I just come, have a good time, and let's all have a laugh, right? Yeah. And then obviously, over the years, people had different ideas. So then you'd have people that come in, they start mugging people, they cause trouble, but then they had to be dealt with. Do you know what I mean? So we were heavy-handed with those people, and then the word got out, and then we were probably, I'd say, out of all the raves, we probably were the safest. In that, if you got mugged in our rave and you come and told somebody, we would find out who they were and they'd be going out the door and they'd be educated, don't do it again. So we had to do that because I thought I built this brand up And I don't want people to go, oh, don't go there, you get mugged.
Don't
go
know bad
there, you get
reputation,
stabbed.
do you?
Don't go there, you know. These different things happen. So, you know, and then after 3 or 4 years of doing that, we set up Gary's Nation. So that was another brand. But those two brands are still going today. One's 30 years old, the other's 25 years old. So I created both those brands. And obviously the world's changed massively since then. You know, now, none of those guys that were working from the door would have been out of work. And, you know, back then, you know, it was like the Wild West. Now, you know, if somebody was caught mugging someone in a club or pulled a knife out, the reality is you call the police or you'd restrain them until they come. Because if you did beat them up and it was excessive, everything's on camera now. And, you know, I mean, I remember one night we used to have these Dobermans, and this guy come up to the door and he was shouting and screaming, he's going to shoot everybody. And we said, mate, you know, you've got to go. And he was like, you know, what are you going to do about it? You know, I'll fucking shoot you in the face. And we said, look, mate, see this dog, right? It's going to rip you to fucking pieces, yeah? So you've got 2 minutes to fuck off or we let the dog off. And he went like that in the coat, and I thought he'd put a gun out. So the dog handler just was like, and the dog done it.
Yeah.
Right? On the phone to him, he was just pretending to do it, but we didn't know that. We didn't want to wait and find out.
But no, not the sort of time you're going to try and stick around,
but he actually, believe it or not, the guy actually said to, he actually phoned the police. So he got done by the dog after threatening to shoot everybody, and then he went in his jacket, so he thought he was pulling something out. And because the dog bit him, he phoned the police. Yeah. And so I pressed charges, and the whoever it was that came down, the police sergeant, said, you know, what happened? And we said, he threatened to shoot people, there's all witnesses, and there were. Yeah. And we said, you know, we brought the dog out and said, if you don't go, we're going to set the dog on you. Yeah. And he was like, oh shit, the fucking dog went like that, and we just let the dog off. Yeah. So the police was like, fuck it, let him, you know, and nothing happened. But obviously now it'd be completely different. Yeah, the dog handler would probably get arrested, the dog would get put down, we get arrested for letting because we've employed the dog handler, you know, so so now things have changed massively. So
did you see what you're saying about all these other firms now? Because what are you, 21, you're 21 at this time. You're smashing it at 21. You're saying obviously you've got people right around it. Did you have any other top firms that sort of thought, who's this kind? Let's put a bit of pressure on?
No. I mean, we had a few run-ins with people. You know, one was quite funny because we'd always used to let people in. So if you was from some South London firm and we knew you, well, if you come, we'd let you and your mate in for free. We'd get you a bottle of champagne. You know, have a good night, behave yourself, sort of thing. And then you'd be like, oh, you know, they're fucking treat you properly, you know, and all that. And then you've got him and his fucking firm, like, there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So they will step in as well and go, what you fucking, you know, so we had these different firms. So you'd have like North East, South West London, you'd pick from Manchester, all over the country there. If you treat the main people right, they normally sort of treat you right. But that doesn't then stop them all wanting to fucking kill each other later on. But there was only one. I mean, we've had a couple of like things, but nothing major. But the only major one was there was this guy from Brixton who we used to let in, and the first time we did Brixton Academy, he phoned my doorman and said, "Oh, just to let you know, you know, when Terry does that, he's got to pay."
Yeah.
And the guy's going, "Pay what?" And, you know, protection. He's got to pay 10 grand, otherwise, you know, we can't guarantee his safety. So. My doorman rang me up and he said, you know, what do you want to do? And I said, tell him that I'd rather pay someone 10 grand to fucking shoot him and take him away, right, than give him a penny. I'd rather give that money to somebody else and let them deal with him directly, right? And he said, you sure you want me to say it? I said, absolutely, right? So he's obviously phoned the guy up and said whatever he said to him. And then the guy's phoned me up and he's going, mate, you know, I was just fucking about, blah, blah.
Oh, you shitting?
And I was going, I'm not fucking about, mate. I said, you know, I said, I'm not fucking paying anybody. If I've got to pay you, you have to start paying everybody, right? And I'm not that fucking guy. So I said, it ain't happening. So I said, if you want to come down, bring whoever you fucking want, right? And then he turned up on his own and he was like, let's have a drink, blah, blah, you know, misunderstand. I said, mate, you know, I said, I've got no problem with you whatsoever. But I said, when you start trying to put it on me for money, it ain't happening. Do you know what I mean? And I would rather give somebody else that money to deal with you than give you a penny. And that's always been my thing. And you know, and would I have done it? if he'd have called it on, probably not. But there was enough people there on that night. If he'd have turned up with a load of fellas, we'd fucking had it with them. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know what would have happened, but it probably wouldn't have been very good for us or for him. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of the guys that worked for me, they didn't give a fuck. You know, we had a fella from Jamaica who, you know, we used to call him Mr. Happy because he was really unhappy. And he couldn't understand what he was saying. He'd just be like, yeah, and people would be like, you know, saying wrong with him. I go, that's what I'm employed in. I think it's fucking great. And I used to go, there's your money, Mr. Happy. And he'd be like going, blah, 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 blah. I see, he's smiling underneath there. You know, so we had a bit of a laugh with him. But then we had a couple of Special Forces guys, and they're always up for it. Do you know what I mean? It was like, you know, someone pulls a knife on one of them, they're going to get fucked up.
Barney, mate.
But you know, But you know, it was the only reason I did that was because the one thing that I was never interested in was drugs. So my thing was put on the event, pay my tax, make my money, have a good night. Right? Other promoters would dabble in drugs, they'd dabble in this, they wouldn't pay tax. But for me, you know, I wanted to enjoy the fruits of my labour. I didn't want to be going to bed with 200 grand under my bed. I didn't want, you know, to get a knock on the door going, you're nicked, you're going to jail for 10 years because you're selling drugs in your rave, you know. So for me, I was like, and this is the mad thing, right? So we bring in, specially, metal detectors. We'd ensure that air security was standing behind their security, watching them, searching people. So we want everyone to be searched when they come in. So we don't want anybody bringing in knives or guns.
You really cared about your product.
Well, it's like having it's like customer care, yeah? You want your customers to keep coming back. And if you're going to some shit old fucking warehouse in East London, you want to feel safe, right? So if you're going in there, you want to know no one's walking around with a gun or a knife. There's no, people ain't selling drugs. You know, it's done properly. So you're in a safe environment, and that's what we try to create. But we would have metal detectors, we'd have security, and they would literally. It wouldn't be just like they'd be like fucking going like that. They'd be like feeling girls' bras where they would potentially hide drugs. They'd be doing up the legs, they'd be patting the bum, you know, the groin areas, the shoes are off.
It was all to ensure that safety.
It was like, it was actually intrusive. If you search something like now, they could probably have you for assault, right? It was that fucking intrusive. But that's what we did. And the thing that I never used to understand is you go through all this shit and you go in the rave and they want to be off their nut and you'd be like, how are they getting in? How are these cunts? They're either taking it in a queue or the security for the venue is selling the drugs. And I think there was probably some truth to that the internal people or the club owners themselves were doing it.
Yeah.
Because I thought there's no fucking way that, you know, I've gone to the expense of metal detectors, I've got fucking sniffer dogs, I've got fucking people patting people down, taking their shoes off. You know, we're watching their security, we've got people on the fire exits to make sure no one's being smuggled in. You know, it was like a fucking military operation. And
but everyone was still off their nuts.
And you're like, how the fuck are they getting in here? But that was if you went to any rave, any club, anywhere, it's the same. And you're just like, you know. So
you said like, but in that era when everyone was off night, it created that big vibe anyway. Like when people go and get off their nut and drink and sting, everyone's all tearing up in bars and clubs and all that. The back days of the pills and that, everyone sort of seemed to be doing the pills. Everyone was just loving each other.
And I think someone said to me. One of the DJs said to me, he said, if I was Margaret Thatcher, I would have legalised ecstasy and just give it to everyone. Yeah. Because everyone was so fucking happy on it. You know, there was never any trouble. But I think the troubles started in the sort of 96, 97, when jungle kind of come in, the drum and bass went a bit jungly and they started sampling reggae artists. Then obviously, then the music changed, the people changed. And, you know, I think if you're doing... you know, back in the day, you know, this rave thing was like new, but then I think as it gets more and more established and there's more and more of them, if you live on a council estate and you see the flyers or you hear there's a rave for 5,000 people at Brixton Academy, you think, well, there's 5,000 victims coming to Brixton, right? So if we hang around the train station, people are going to be cut out of their nuts from fucking Kent or Essex. They're not going to be switched on. We'll take their watches, their fucking chains, their wallets, their tickets. So what they used to do is the muggers would rob people and they'd come in the rave with their tickets and try and rob people in the raves.
Fucking hell.
I mean, I'd say probably from 97 to 2000, that was a real bad problem. Yeah. And then I think the garage scene then exploded, like went fucking nuts in 99. But then again, you've got the crews. So you had the So Solid crew, the Heartless crew, the Pay As You Go cartel. You had all these crews, and they were like, you know, that was really the birth of drill. Really, they call it grime, but that really was the drill, the British rap, the grime, whatever you want to call it. But then what happened was then obviously because that it was aggressive. You know, garage used to be all people dressing up, drinking champagne, nice looking girls, nice looking guys. Everyone wears suits. But then when that music changed, it was all tracksuits, hoodies, trainers, sunglasses. So it was a bit more streety. So then obviously the streety people were going, oh great, this is for us. But then they forced out the other people. And then obviously if that streety people from there and there and there and there, then you have all the postcode stuff, and then you'd have people fucking shooting people. I mean, I remember doing Garage Nation at Ministry of Sound Christmas Day night, and we had to actually say to people, because the people come to the door going, oh, you know, I can't be searched, you've got to walk me through. And it's like, mate, we're not walking you through. What am I going to do if thing's in there? Well, he's not going to have anything on him either. We were walking people to their cars and saying, put the thing in the car. And they were actually turning up Christmas Day night to a rave with a fucking shooter, and you'd have to say no. And people would actually come up to you and go, but I need you to walk me. We're not doing that, mate. Yeah. Go and put it away and fucking behave yourself. It's Christmas Day night. And that really was a turning point for me, because I just thought that at that time, I thought, you know, this has gone from a scene of everyone loving each other and having a laugh to people fucking bringing guns to raves and people getting shot and stabbed. And, you know, you'd always hear these horror stories, you know, like, a girl's been thrown out of the Coliseum in, I think there was a party called Twice As Nice, and she got thrown out, went to the car, got a gun, and then waited outside, the guy come out and she shot the fucking bloke, you know. And it's just like, you know, what girl goes to a club with a gun and goes, oh, do you know what, I'll leave it in the car, but if I need it, I'll come back for it later. You just think, and that was the mentality. And I think what eventually happened in like 2001, 2002 was the police, the councils, the club owners, they all didn't want any of this stuff, because obviously, you know, people shooting people on their premises bad for business. And they started to approach promoters and saying, you want to do a garage night or drum bass night, you can't put this DJ, you can't put this MC, you can't have this crew, you can't do this, you can't do that. And it was literally like someone saying to you, you know, you're a promoter, you've been successful at sending these things out, but now we're going to strip away all the things you need to make it a success. Mm-hmm. And also, in the last year of promoting, from 2002 to February 2003 was my last event.
Was that your last one?
I had a gun pulled at me 4 times.
What?
4 times. Just stupid shit. Not for anything, you know, but just people coming up the door, you know, we're not being searched, we ain't coming in then. You know, we're going to do this, we'll do that, you know. And they sort of put it on you, and it's sort of like, well, yeah, go around the back if you want, mate. And then you go around the back and it's like, you want this? And it was like, so you want to shoot me because I'm not letting you in the club. And then it just got to the point where a firm come down from Manchester, they kicked off in this rave, they all got thrown out and beaten up, and then they just decided, right, and they've gone back to the car, balaclavas, machine guns, and we had spotters in the car park, so we actually had over the radio saying, oh, by the way, those guys have just put balaclavas on them, loading up machine guns, right? And we're sitting in this rave going, well, we haven't got any machine guns, and we've got bulletproof vests, but my mum used to work for me in the cash box, so I'm thinking my mum's here, my girlfriend's here, I've got my security team here, but we're not carrying fucking machine guns, right? So we're going to get fucking ironed out here, do you know what I mean? So it was like, lock the doors, phone the police, right? And within a minute, the fucking armed response unit was there. So they were expecting something to happen, basically, because that's how it was then. Yeah. And then I remember it was like midnight, and there was these like fucking, I don't know if they're SO19s, but they had like the flak jackets, the fucking, you know, army helmets, MP5 machine guns, and they're standing each side of the door. They're all standing on the queue, and you can see people turning up, sort of like, going, it's a bit fucking on top of it. Yeah. And then the police guy, whoever it was, come in, I think he was an inspector, and he was like, look, you know, you need to get out of there because these people are going to kill you. And I was like, oh, great. You know, I can't really leave my rave. And he said, well, no. He said, you can stay if you want, but these people are going to kill you. You know, we know that we've searched them all. We found out who they are. They are part of a firm, and they are fucking murderers, right? and they've all got fucking form. They're all known to carry fucking guns, but somebody's come along on a motorbike and took the guns and fucked off when the old bill came, right? So he said, I'm just marking your car. He said, we'll give you an armed escort home, right? So I'm thinking, fucking hell. It's not every day you get an armed police escort home, right? So I took him up on the offer, and I remember thinking when I was in the car, I just thought, you know, what is fucking going on? You know what I mean? This is something that I used to enjoy doing. And I remember when we was driving down the road, my mate had this Astra van, and he was in front, and he phoned me and he said, I'll tell. He said, just to let you know, he said, if anybody does try and ram us off the road, I am going to fucking ram them with the car. But he said, I'm only insured third party farm theft. Right? I said, don't worry, I'll buy you a new car if you have to do that. But it made me laugh, you know, you're in this like fucking mad fucking thing. And there's always a like funny moment.
Yeah.
But you know, that was definitely one of the turning points. And also being told you can't do this, you can't do that. And I think a lot of the clubs, as soon as you said I wanted to put this on, no thanks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was becoming harder and harder and harder. And I just thought, you know, in a minute it's going to say no more, right? So I thought, I don't want to be the guy holding the baby going, I've got this great brand, but I can't do anything with it. So I put the brands up for sale, sold them. And, you know, I did feel like there was a big weight off my shoulders, you know, when I sold them. But, you know, again, it was funny because that incident that I was telling you about, one of the guys knew the people in Manchester, and he actually phoned them up and said, like, you know, what the fuck was all that about? And it turned out that these kids were just kids, right?
Yeah.
But they were obviously trying to, you know, do the respect thing. And then when the older people found out, they said to him, you know, they're their fucking mates, you know, you can't be over like that. So then it was all right.
So I
But the issue is, you know, forget all that, forget the armed police. If the armed police hadn't turned up, we would have definitely potentially been murdered that night. And that's when something like that happens, you just start thinking, fucking hell, you know, this ain't fun anymore. It don't matter how much I'm earning. You know, if I could potentially get... my missus said to me, she said, you know, going to work in a bulletproof vest, you're having to employ all these fucking psychos to look after you. You got fucking special forces dog handlers with fucking attack dogs. She said, this isn't fun.
No. When you say it like that, it's not.
She said, you know, she said, you know, you've got to make a choice. Is the risk worth the reward? And I looked at it and I thought, you know what, the risk isn't worth the reward because, you know, if someone's paying you millions of pounds, then you can go, I don't mind the risk, right? But when you're not earning millions of pounds and, you know, you start thinking, you know, I mean, I did it for 10 years, right? I was in the club scene when I was 18 till I was 31, right?
Oh, so what?
So I was in it for like 13 years and 10 years of that I was promoting. 3 years I was like giving out flyers, selling tickets, fucking about, having a laugh.
Yeah.
But 10 years when I was doing the business, that was like serious business, you know what I mean? I was like literally no drugs, no fucking about. We do it properly. We do this. We do that. Pay everybody. You know, it was run like a proper business. Whereas a lot of the other rave promoters, you'd see them and they'd be like, "We've made some money. Let's go and party for 6 months." And then once the money runs out, we'll do another rave. Do you know what I mean? So, but you know, it's. I look back on it all, and I don't regret any of it, you know, because it was.
It sounds like there's some nutty memories. Like, it sounds like you've got some memories in that from back then.
Well, I wrote a book about it, and I've just.
Like, time you just found out you got a book. What was the book?
The book's called King of Clubs.
King of
Clubs. By Terry Taylor.
Yeah.
And I also did an audio book which I narrated, and I'm in talks with a really big TV company about turning into a TV show.
Yeah.
Which will be kind of like the British Power.
But people want to find that book. People seen the.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's on iTunes. Yeah. You know, the audio book's on Audible. You know, but it always makes me laugh because you know, we didn't put everything in the book, right? Because obviously I wanted to keep stuff out for when we do a film or we do a TV show.
Or the Ben Hatchett podcast.
Pardon?
Or the Ben Hatchett podcast.
Well, no. Still, we got to keep some stuff out. We can't give it all away. But what was funny was, you know, people have sort of, you know, people have read the book or have listened to the audio book, and I don't know who these people are, but they sort of I remember someone said to me, "Oh, you should have a look at the comments." As, you know, because obviously these keyboard warriors can write comments now. You know?
Yeah, I'm learning about this. It wasn't about it, my day. I'm just starting to learn about it.
And the funny thing is, they can write a review, but you can't respond to it or put them right. So the review just stays up there. But what one of them was like, "Oh yeah, none of this happened. It's all make believe," and it's all like, mate. It ain't.
Yeah, no. So I get people now trying to say, "Oh, you wasn't even in Bournemouth. You ever got kicked out of Bournemouth?" It's like, fuck it. Where's all this keyboard war shit come from?
But I think when I looked at it, I laughed, and I just thought, you know. But the issue is, you know, people through the internet now, they can basically say, "You're a liar. You've said this. You've done this. You've done that," and it can all be utter bollocks.
I'm getting it now.
People look at it. And they go, "Oh, maybe there's some truth in it." But the reality is, I think anybody in the club scene, who's anybody, whether they were ravers, whether they were DJs, MCs, promoters, if they read my book, they'll go, "Fucking hell, that's 25% of what happened," right? And it's all fucking true, right? Because for me, there is no, what do I need to fucking tell lies or make up stories? I don't need to fucking, the stories are so good anyway, I don't need to fucking make them up. I don't need to, you know, add to them to make them more exciting, you know. And you know, a friend of mine said, "Oh, don't feed the trolls." So that's a good bit of advice. And what I do now, if you get these pricks sending you messages or commenting on your thing, just block and delete.
That's one thing I've learned recently. Now people have been saying, because when I went away, it was 2010 when I went away. Right. You didn't have really all this sort of social media. It wasn't where it is now, like Insta, Facebook.
But the thing is, all they want is a
troll.
They want a reaction. They want you to go, "Fuck off, you cunt." Yeah. Or, "Why don't you say it in my face?" Because they want to know that they've upset you, right? But the reality is, if they're fucking that fucking, you know, whatever, they will actually find you and come up to you and go, "By the way, Ben, I think you're a cunt." To your face.
I've got my boxing gym out there all the time. I say to them, "Listen, you're more than happy to come to my boxing gym and we can have this conversation in person." I say it every time.
If you want, we can do it. But gloves or no gloves, it's up to you.
I'm more than happy, Ben. I could do that. But no, I've just learned to be a bit more thick-skinned. Obviously, building a platform where I'm names getting out there, and now it's just like, I'm not even entertaining.
But no, honestly, it's the best way. Just ignore it, because most of them are morons anyway. Do you know what I mean?
I'm glad you said it as well, because I've been doing a bit about trolling as well. I did it with Danielle because she got trolled, and the other people have been filming it. Danielle Mason, one of the shit I did a thing about her, and she got severely trolled. They were sat in the pavement, so I did an episode about trolling. Some of the other people who've been platforms. It's probably I think it's so bad now. It was never about back in the day with this cyberbullying and shit. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of young children that are self-harming and having mental health issues, and people committing suicides because of what people are doing on social media. Because, you know, you can go on someone's profile, you can set up a fake profile quite easily, and you can just send a message saying you're fat, you're skinny, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, and then you can set another one up and do it again, and you get all your mates doing it as a laugh. And while, you know, you can all look at it and go, "Oh, it's a bit of fun. It's just banter."
It's not.
Well, it ain't, right? And the thing is, if somebody, you know, did it to you, right? You know, you wouldn't like it. Do you know what I mean? And I've always just thought, you know, these people they've got too much time on their hands because and it's just, I think what social media creates is bitterness, and I think if you're doing anything, doesn't matter what it is, or whatever level of success, some people see it and go, "Cunt, fucking cunt, look at him, who's he think he is?" It's like, you know, but you won't see me on social media going, "Oh, look, this is my breakfast, you know, I'm having a nice day today, this is my house, this is my car, look at me." Because
you don't do that. You don't.
We
follow each other.
I'm not interested.
You don't stunt all that sort of shit.
I'm not interested.
You put up banner and stuff, and I
try and do something that's fun, if I can.
And you support them. What I know as well, you know, people come to you, sort of post stories to help and support other people, and I've seen that as well. You know what I mean?
Well, I've always looked at social media. It is for promoting yourself or what you're doing, but it's also, I think, if you use it to help others, where you help me, I help you. We don't pay each other any money, but, you know, if
I wouldn't mind to pay you $3,000 to do this.
Yeah, but don't tell him. but it's always they've all want $3,000. So you start that slippery slope, you know, start.
Edit. I got $3,000 to motherfucking name, man.
But no, but you know, it's yeah. I think you know, I think somebody had a really good idea. Well, it was actually my idea, right? that what they should do is they should have GPS tracking on everybody who joins social media. So if I send you a message going, Ben, you're a cunt, you can just look, go like that, and it tells you exactly where I am. So you can fucking come and grab hold of it.
Anyone can make anyone can just do emails and all that as well.
You know, because then if people could, look, most people don't have their proper pictures, yeah, and they hide behind things. But if you could actually go, if it come up saying that is fucking Ben Hatchett, and Ben Hatchett lives there, or Ben Hatchett is in fucking Nando's, yeah, then you can go, oh, right, okay, so Ben Hatchett fucking is digging me out and he's in Nando's, right? So you walk around to Nando's or whatever, and you go, you know, why are you doing this shit, right? And then you're going to go, look, mate, you know, no fucking about, because not many people are that fucking stupid that actually want either to get filled in or to have a fucking punch up over some shit on social media. But I think the reason they do it is because they know nothing. You can't do anything. You don't know who they are. You know what I mean? And they thrive off it. If they send you a thing saying you're fat, you're ugly, you look retarded, or whatever they say, right? You just think, who is this cunt? Right? You want to just go. If you looked in the mirror lately, you go. But the thing is, you go, I don't want to actually give them the pleasure of even thinking that I've read it because you know.
That's what I'm just learning now. I've just literally got to the sort of thick skin bit now. And the thing is, I don't know why people try to dig me over. I'm trying to do is fucking positive.
No, but they're not. They're not. People want to dig you out. It doesn't matter whether you're fucking Robert Downey Jr. I mean, you know, if you look at Harvey Price, yeah, Harvey Price gets fucking trolled like nobody. You know, and you sort of think, you know, why do people do it? But the thing is, they just do it, right? And they share the memes and it's all fucking funny and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But then if you're Katie Price, you know, she's getting fucking tormented, you know.
That's her son, isn't it?
But the thing is, people think that's all right.
How would they feel if that was their son?
Well, they wouldn't like it.
They wouldn't.
But the thing is, it ain't their son. And for them, they can all hide behind this, like, you know, the keyboards and sell this shit, all this stuff. And all it is you're tormenting, you know, a blind disabled person and their family, and you just think, you know, where's the fun, where's the joy in that? There is no joy in it. But unfortunately, when you look at this stuff, you know, if it's not that, it's, you know, Gemma Collins. If it's not Gemma Collins, it's fucking somebody else. You know,
so there's always been something.
If you're on social media and you've got any profile or any followers, you're going to get people trolling you and slagging you off. And,
no, I get it that as well, mate.
But I think, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's all GPS. And when people send you a trolling comment, you just click on the thing, it tells you where they are.
Yeah. Ben actually tells you coming to your door,
It's a picture of that.
So what did you do after that then?
Well, my wife thought I was going to do something sensible. Out of the blue, somebody phoned me up one day and said, we're making a film. Do you want to be in it? So I've gone home thinking, be an actor now. Right? I remember sitting down and thinking, I made a fucking massive mistake here. You're wearing a black jumper?
I'm wearing a black jumper.
You're wearing a black jumper?
Yeah.
You're wearing a black jumper?
I'm wearing a black jumper.
You're wearing a black jumper? You're wearing a black jumper? And then from there, we developed Lights of the Foot Soldier. Don't make it, it's shit. We've got a bloke from EastEnders in it, there's nobody knows any of the actors in it. Don't fucking make it, it's going to be a disaster. And then you start seeing some of the footage and you're like, that's fucking horrible. Do you think I'm better looking in real life or was I a disappointment? Or